Hello, everyone. The issue of performance-enhancing drugs has undeniably been an embarrassment to the game known as our country's national pastime, or baseball. They have harmed the integrity of a very traditional game, and it sort of bothers me. So today, I want to explore with you the negative effects of using performance-enhancing drugs, particularly in baseball. Now, I do not want to limit this speech to just the negative side effects a person that uses them gets, as far as a person who uses steroids or HGH, the side effects. They also affect the game and our youth, and they set an example for children and all other professional sports as well. This morning, I will discuss what is on Major League Baseball's banned substance list, their testing procedures, consequences for a positive test, why these drugs are illegal, how the media perceives the issue, and what kind of example and influence these athletes have on the youth and other sports as well. Let's begin with what is on the banned substance list. There's not only steroids on the banned substance list, but there's also stimulants, aka uppers, which the most common stimulant in our world is coffee. That's not a banned substance, but it's just something that gets you up and excited. Other drugs used for recreational use, such as marijuana, cocaine, LSD, opiates like heroin and morphine, ecstasy, GHB, and PCP, and also steroids. There's over, I believe, 50 plus steroids on the banned substance list, and players are prohibited from using, selling, possessing, facilitating the sale of, or facilitating the distribution of any of these drugs. So basically, you can't touch them, use them, sell them, any of that stuff. Testing procedures. You're considered to have a positive test if any steroid is present in your test other than nandrolone, which is one that's naturally in your body. The testing goes by urine samples. You are subject to random testing at any time during the season or off season. And the minor leagues have also started to implement blood testing, which is a way to detect human growth hormone. The major leagues have not implemented that, like the big leagues have not implemented that. And it's sort of a still controversial topic. And that is sort of how the testing procedures work. Now, one example of a flawed system would be Milwaukee Brewers outfielder and reigning National League MVP Braun. He tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug at the end of last season, and the results came out in the off-season. It was their very first playoff game of the season, or of the postseason, and they took his urine sample. And it was the tester, the handler of the urine. They kept it in their basement over the weekend because no nearby FedEx was open to send the sample to. And they claimed that the test was mishandled and it was not properly, looked after. And so his test was overturned because they said it was mishandled, and they reversed it, so he was not punished for his test. And we will get into the consequences after this. It was, according to Travis T. Tigert, the chief executive of the United States AntiDoping Agency, he said this was not a violation of protocol, but it was rather the preferred approach that they took. So it didn't really violate any rules, but Major League Baseball it wasn't their preferred way of doing it. Consequences for drugs and stimulants have different consequences than steroids or HGH. First positive test is 50-game suspension without pay. Second is 100 games without pay. And third is a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball. One example is Manny Ramirez. When he was with the Dodgers in 2009, he tested positive and was suspended 50 games. And last season, he tested positive a second time, and after he tested positive a second time, he retired. He didn't want to play anymore. But this season, he wanted to come back. So instead of giving him the full 100-game suspension that he deserved, they said that he'd only have to serve 50 since he basically sat out all of last season because of that. Why are these drugs illegal? Most, if not all, these drugs are illegal in the United States unless prescribed by a doctor, which brings me to MedVisual. This is a steroid. Technically I'm taking it. When I was sick, I was out for 2 weeks. I had a lot of swelling in my throat and my respiratory infection, and these are used to lower inflammation, for swelling to go down, and that is one of the purposes of steroids. Some are for illness. These are what most of them are meant for illness or sickness or any injuries. A doctor will prescribe them to you. But some of them, like if you use them over a long period of time, you're going to get bad effects. According to MayoClinic.com, many of the side effects depend on the drug. They may include, but are not limited to, men may develop breasts, baldness, infertility, and shrunken testicles, which is not good. Women may develop a deeper voice, enlarged clitoris, increased body hair, baldness, and men and women may both experience severe acne, liver abnormalities and tumors, lipoprotein issues, aggressive behaviors or violence, also known as roid rage, and certain drugs. Possible psychiatric disorders such as becoming depressed or dependent on the drugs, like addiction, dizziness, dehydration, muscle cramps, fatigue, potassium deficiency, drop in blood pressure, diarrhea, kidney or liver damage, nervousness, irritability, insomnia, heart palpitations, weight loss, tremors, mild hypertension, heart attack, convulsions, and some of these things can lead to death. Also, if you're injecting them via needles, you could get some type of like hepatitis or HIV if you're not injecting them properly. The media perceives these as very negative. They bash the users. The Hall of Fame committee has yet to vote anyone. The people that vote for players to go into the Hall of Fame, they've yet to vote anyone suspected of use in yet. They're very skeptical, and they're very traditional as well, the people that vote for the Hall of Fame. So it's like gives a black eye to baseball. So they don't want anyone that's been accused of or tested positive for steroids in the Hall of Fame. And once again, they set an example for the youth. And cheating is wrong. It's against the rules. And a lot of these steroids are illegal without doctor prescription. And it sort of also gives athletes a bad name. Like, athletes, we aren't special. Like, you can't just go break the law. And the kids look up to these athletes as heroes. Like, when you're younger, if you want to do what your favorite athlete does. So if someone's they're wearing a certain kind of glove or bat a certain way, you try and go out in the backyard and copy them. And this makes kids sound like, oh, steroids. Like, it's just really has a negative effect. And to conclude things, the negative effect of taking performance-enhancing drugs is not only physical. It affects everyone around us. This is an issue that Major League Baseball needs to do a better job of. Media negatively affects us and tries to change athletes into machines, but cannot turn to juicing or using these drugs. Reasons for using them they may seem legit to you, but it's ultimately illegal, cheating, and disgraceful to yourself. But more importantly, what we explored today is that those decisions not only affect the user, but baseball as well. Thank you.
All right, so Daniel, what did you think?
You want me to stand up?
No, but I do need you to speak loud enough that it's picked up on the recording.
All right. That was really detailed. I probably heard more about that than I probably have in the past, because I've heard speeches and stuff like this on before. But there wasn't a lot of transitions right there, so you just literally just jumped from one topic to another. You announced it though, so we knew it was changed, but it wasn't anything exciting going on in there. And there was a lot of reading when you were doing it, a lot of information that you had to read right off the card to remember. And your visual aid was pretty small, so all we saw was like a little yellow box, and that's about it. You explained what it was, though, so we got that much.
Okay. I like the attention device. It was pretty straightforward. We know what your topic is immediately. You've got a clear statement of the proposition or the theme that you're going to be talking about. That's exactly what we're looking for there. Your preview sounds